Hello and welcome back to the Ibanez Gio Goldtop conversion. Alright, what I've done off camera here is I've gone ahead and flattened out some of this stuff here, backfilled gaps and whatnot with super glue and sanded it down flattish. It'll get more sanding as I go on. I hit that with 320, I believe. I've also located the spot where I want to put my switch. And I've got the back prepared. I'm going to need to do some measuring and stuff just to make sure that the drill bit's going to come out where I think it's going to. Basically what's going to have to happen also with the control cavity is big. And it's going to have to fold over this edge, which is going to be interesting. I've never seen a control cavity that actually folds over an edge before. So that'll be new. I'm hoping to get this lined up right so that the drill bit actually comes out one of the flat areas when I do my pallet hole, so that when I go back in with my Forstner bit to do the actual hole for the switch to go into, that I can at least start on a flat area. Because if I try to start that thing with the thing off center on a curve like this, it's never going to work right when I end up chewing this thing up. So I'm going to do a little bit of measuring out, and I'll be back. Alright, I think I might have something going on here. Basically what I did was I took my little tape measure thing and I taped it down to one side and basically wrapped it around to get one line, and then I did the same thing crossways, and that's where my little crosshair is. And that is where I will be drilling, which is lucky because it's the edge of the belly cut is right about here. It comes around here. So yeah, it's right about there. I might actually move it over just a skosh, just to give myself a little more solid room. Go a little off center. And that should put me right about where I need to be. Yeah, it occurred to me that it'd probably be a good idea to start my pallet hole through the back, so I would know that that would at least be on a flat surface. Don't know why I didn't think of that before, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and drill my pallet hole, and I'll be back. Alright, there's my pallet hole. I just used a 1/8 inch bit, and let's see how that turned out. Not too bad. Not too bad. So that'll put my switch right about there, which will, let me got me a little tub here. I'm keeping all my parts in as I go, as I get them. So that's going to put my switch right about there. It's a little bit closer to this than I wanted it to be, but I needed to get it on that flat spot. That's not too bad. So it's coming together slowly but surely. I don't know who Shirley is, but alright, now my next step is to get out my Forstner bit. I think it's going to be the biggest one I've got. There's the part that came off of the guitar. I first learned the wonders of Forstner bits when my dad and I were building the guitar back in 92, 93. We built a body and basically cut the entirety of the control cavities and pick up routes, neck pocket, everything with Forstner bits. And I've been a fan of them ever since. And since I don't own or know how to operate a router, hey, look at that. Since I don't own or know how to operate a router, this is the next best thing. I feel like I have much more control over this. Excuse me. So, when I go to drill this hole, it's going to start right about there. And that's going to give me some really good grip on the flat part of this before I actually drill through and get to this part. And then my cavity plate is going to sit right about there, so this part of it's going to have to fold over. And it's going to be a little close to the neck joint, but you know, given the circumstances, I mean, apart from getting a body custom made that didn't have this, this is what I got to do. So I am going to go ahead and get this thing cut out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the thickness of the guitar, which is, I could probably actually look this up online, but hold on. Okay. Guitar is about 1 5/8 inch thick. That's about what I guessed it was going to be. I was thinking about it the other night and how far I would have to drill. So I could leave about, I don't know, I'll have to check to see how much wood is usually left. I think about 1/8 of an inch, 3/16. So I'm going to go ahead and mark off my depth on the Forstner bit. And that'll be my next thing. Alrighty, I'm getting ready to cut into this thing. I am frankly scared shitless. I'm afraid I'm going to go through. But I've measured my Forstner bit and gotten the proper depth. I lied, it wasn't 1 3/5/8. It was 1 11/16. So I was 1/8 off. So, got my trusty tripod here. I am going to see if I can do this. I'm going to go ahead and film this part. What the heck. If I can get this thing to stand up right. I've got some advanced technology here for holding my phone up. I've got this here cup and a clamp. Alright. And there's where I'm going to be drilling. Now I've made a little flag out of my tape, so that way, actually I saw it on some other videos. Somebody suggested doing that, so that way when it gets down closer, it can start to whisk off some of the wood. Now the thing about this is basswood is extremely soft, so once it starts digging in, it's going to go fast. So I'm going to try to keep it straight. Getting close. Still got a little more room to go. Just about. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull it back out. All right, and there's my hole. Dump this out. I'm going to put my drill bit back through here just to see where it is in relation to the where I've cut through. And that is pretty much dead on. I'm going to see how deep I've gone. This is the switch I'm going to be putting in. Or at least one similar. I've got two different ones. I've got this one and where's the other one at? And I've got this one. It's a little bit shorter, but I think they've got the same size shaft. I may just end up ordering an all new switch just to make sure that it's good. I'm pretty sure this one's good. I think this one is. But let me check the size of my shaft. I could probably look that up too, but yeah. That's going to be a little over 3/8. It's about 5/16. No, we're not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7/16. Jesus. Sorry, Dad, I'm trying to make you proud of me. This one is the same, 7/16. So, I found my 7/16 inch bit, which I have on the surface floor. I'm actually really pleased at how well that Forstner did. I don't know why I'm always surprised, because they always do a really good job, but you know, it feels good to succeed at something. You know, that's bad when you're happy that a drilling exercise works properly. That's how you can tell if someone is disappointed frequently. Something like that makes them happy. Maybe it just doesn't take much. I don't know. Now where are my freaking drill bits? I don't think I have a 7/16 inch Forstner. I do not. Half inch is too big. Oh, wait a minute. Aha! There's my 7/16 drill bit. I used that on the SG double neck project. Had to go buy it because I didn't have one. I had a 3/8 and I had a 1/2 inch, and neither one of them were the right size. So I'm going to take that out, and I'll put all my toys away when I get done. I'm trying to kind of clean up after every session. Hasn't always happened, but I've got such big old flakes right now, I'm going to have to. Otherwise I'm going to be swimming. Alright, now. Just to try and help preserve, paint a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and, now, as you can see, my hole is pretty much dead center. I don't know if you can see that. It's fairly centered. At least it was before I made that last little cut. Clear that out so I can see exactly what I'm working with. Yeah, that's pretty DFC right there. All right. So, ooh, goodness gracious. All right, that did not go as planned. I guess I probably should have held on to it first. That's fine. Alright. I will straighten that out later. It's okay. Poker chip will cover that. I'm a little excited to get this part. Just do something. See, right there is where that's going to sit. Switch. Stick it into the back here. Might have to kind of finagle it a little bit. On here. As you can see, I pretty much wing it. As long as it works out. So I'll stick that straight back down in here. Now we gotta see. Yeah, it turns out my hole ended up being a little off center, but it'll be okay. Everything's sticking to everything. Reminds me of summer. Come on. Out. I know I have a certain friend who probably heard the word chisel and his ears perked up. Isn't that right, Mark? Now I got lots of good friends out there on the Facebook land who share like modding tips and finishing tips and all kinds of stuff. And some of us have done some pretty interesting things. A little bit more. I can't really go too much deeper because I end up going through the front of this thing. And I cannot reiterate enough how much I don't want to do that. Since I don't have any kind of precision CNC equipment or anything like that, you know, it's kind of test fit city. Not quite. No. On my poker chip. This is going to be a tight cavity. As far as wiring and stuff goes. Let me take a look here again. Just a tiny bit more. Tiny bit more. Just kind of let it rest on top there and just kind of chip off a tiny bit at a time instead of putting any real pressure on it. It'll take longer, but at least I won't go through that way. Not quite enough. Damn. Oh, hold on. Hold the press. Do I have it? Yes. So need to be straightened up. But there's my switch. Anna, shut up. So there's my switch. And then I'm going to do the same to this. This is going to be interesting because of this curve here. It might not be as bad as I think it is. I don't know. I'll find out when I get there. Okay, I started working on my recess for the toggle switch control. I've already taken out the first little section. Well, I went around with my razor blade, took my plate and set it on top of there, and very carefully went around it with the razor blade until it was deep enough for me to be able to pull the tape off of it and kind of start chipping away a little at a time. This one I'm just going to kind of take off the paint layer, and then I'm going to go back around it again, take off another layer, go back around it again. I'm not going to try to dig too deep all at once this time. Alright, I am back. I've got my recess done. It actually turned out really well. I'm just kind of surprised how well it turned out. But as you can see, it goes down over a hump there. Now this shouldn't be really as hard as I'm making it out to be. I think I've decided what I'm going to do is use my heat gun to bend this thing down over. Alright, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put some masking tape over this to kind of protect it from the heat a little bit. And I am going to screw this down. Alright, I've got that. I've already kind of test fitted it to make sure everything's going to go once it's bent down to kind of save some time. I've already got my screw holes in the body. So these will go right in. That'll hold them in place while I'm heating up the the plate. I'm going to do it very kind of slowly and low heat, because I don't want to melt this plate and I don't want to set anything on fire. I think what's going to happen is once I get this thing warmed up enough that it fits down over my edge, then I will take another screw and screw it in to hold it down. I could probably go ahead and do that, but it'll put a lot of stress on the screw and the body as it is, and it probably won't be very flat. So I've got a third screw ready here somewhere. There it is. Pick it up. Boing. Alright. Got my heat gun. My Wagner. Alright. Real low heat. I'll make sure I don't get this thing warm enough to take any paint off, because I'm not doing all that. Whew. Even on low heat, that's warm. Goodness. I'm not even sure this is going to work. Something's starting to smoke. Probably not good. That's a little floppy now. Before it cools off too much, I'm going to go ahead and stick the screw in here. I'm probably making a grave mistake doing this. But, you know. Not quite holding down as well as I hoped. But I might actually be able to take it and once it's cooled off a little bit, I can kind of hit it a little bit at a time and kind of mold it down. It's tricky because, you know, maybe it feels straight. I might actually be able to get it to fold down a little better, but it's going around a curve too. So not only is it folding down, it's also folding down over a curve. So That's where we are right now. I'm going to keep on working with this. I'm going to leave it screwed down for right now, just so I can keep that bend once it cools down. Then I'll start working with it. So, there's that. Okay, after that little bit of failure, I came up with a new plan. I should kill two stones with one bird here. I took my C-clamp and one of my wedges and kind of lightly clamped this down. And then I took the heat gun and I put heat on it enough to get this wood really warm. And as that happened, I tightened my clamp down. So hopefully, I have no idea what's under here right now. Hopefully that was warm enough to get this to clamp it down flat. And in the process, I was able to kind of bend this down. So, and I actually did get a little bit of a curve to it. I drew on the back of it so I could kind of see where the curve was. Hopefully this will work. I'm gonna leave that clamp for a couple more minutes and then take it off and see what it looks like. And there it is after much manipulation with the heat gun and my clamps. It's still not absolutely perfect, but you know what? Bad jinkies, once I get all this edge cleaned up, and there's actually still a piece of plastic on top of this, it'll have more of the low sheen, kind of like the control cover does. But it works. So now I just gotta drill my control holes.